July 28, 1879, the Montreal Daily Witness. Local origin of yellow fever. We have lost whatever faith we ever had in quarantine. The yellow fever now prevailing here is of undisputed local origin. We have, therefore, no confidence in the efficacy of quarantine to prevent a recurring visit of the plague. The Mulbrandon case is supposed to have originated in fomides preserved in a trunk. The Ray case is too privy poison. But the Tobin case is one that, having no connection with the others, and originating no one can tell where, puzzles the will and dumbfounds the most expert. There is not, and has not been, a case of yellow fever reported this summer anywhere on the Gulf or South Atlantic coasts, or in the interior of the country, save here. And we have not had any Cuban, Mexican, Brazilian, or West Indian visitors. Therefore, it could not have been imported. The theory of logical origin, whatever may have been the causes of its first appearance, is thus well established, and the quarantine theorists will have to step down and out. Memphis Appeal. October 22, 1897. The Nevada Daily Mail, Nevada, Missouri. Frost fell in the south. Number of cases of yellow fever reduced. New Orleans, Louisiana, October 21st. The fever situation improved to some extent here today. Where yesterday there had been 30 cases by 1 o'clock, at 7 o'clock tonight there were only 40. Yesterday's afternoon record was 6 deaths. Today at nightfall, but 2 fatalities had been reported to the Board of Health. The Board of Health reported later, cases of yellow fever today 43. Deaths today 2. Total cases to date 1,024. Total deaths 112. Total cases recovered 519. Total under treatment 393. Among the deaths is that of Sister Sylvester of St. Joseph's Orphan Asylum. The weather this morning was cool, and reports from below New Orleans are to the effect that there was a light frost last night. Colonel I.D. Ellis of Governor Foster's staff said to a representative of the Associated Press this evening that he had received advices that there had been in St. Bernard's Parish and on the outskirts of the city last night. The deposit, however, was slight and possibly not sufficient to stamp out the disease here. It is possible, however, that the fewer cases this evening are a result traceable to the change in the temperature. It does not now seem at all likely that the fever will continue here for any length of time. August 3, 1905, The Freelance, Fredericksburg, Virginia. Fails to halt Scourge. 21 new cases of yellow fever and 5 deaths in New Orleans. No abatement in the scare. Many people leaving stricken city and quarantines becoming tighter. Mississippi guards fire on suspects who tried to escape from camp. New Orleans, August 1. New cases up to last night, 21. Cases to date, 302. Deaths, 5. Total deaths to date, 62. New foci, 5. Total foci, 46. Of the deaths reported, about 3 occurred in the emergency hospital, and all 5 bore Italian names. Another case was discovered outside of the city, being that of an Italian who left here a week ago with several others and took up his residence in Morgan City. On their arrival, they were quarantined and one of them was taken sick 4 days ago. His case was diagnosed as yellow fever. By the end of the present week, the authorities believe that they will be able to announce that the scourge can be eradicated before the coming of frost. Daily, the system of inspection and report is becoming more perfect, and in a few days, no more new cases traceable to the original infection may be expected. There was no accurate census of the population of the Italian quarter when the fever broke out, and it is impossible to find all who escaped from that one when the presence of the fever became known. Many people are still leaving New Orleans, but it is difficult to separate those who are going away on their usual annual vacations or on business from those who are seeking to get out of harm's way. The great bulk of the city's population is still here, however, and apparently has decided to stay until the mosquito theory is proved or frost comes. In spite of the scourge, however, the doctors report a loss of business, particularly higher-class physicians, many of whose patients have left the city. Physicians must work long hours and perform much service free as the fever predominates among the indigent class. Reasonableness in the country with respect to quarantines is not increasing, as is evidenced by a dispatch saying that Port Gibson, Mississippi would exclude all freight from New Orleans. Other towns have taken similar action, and businessmen are apprehensive that the quarantine infection will spread and that there will be continued contraction of territory in which New Orleans may deliver its goods. The declaration of quarantine by Louisiana against New Orleans has opened nearly the whole state to the commerce of Texas and other states, allowing outsiders to invade territory heretofore controlled by New Orleans merchants. January 7, 1913. Hedges Herald, Hedgesville, Montana. Quarantine. It is impossible to say with anything like certainty just how old the custom of quarantine is. We know that it was observed at Venice as early as the year 1127, whereby all merchants and others coming from the Levant were obliged to remain for some 40 days in a lazaretto before they were admitted into the city. The custom is now coextensive with the civilized world, and to it is doubtless to be attributed the rapid advance that has been made within the past quarter of a century in safeguarding the people from the plagues which in the olden times were so destructive of human life.